A meeting was held in Kotobila Valigama last morning under the auspices of JVP Politburo member MP Andra Kumara Disanayaka.
That's right. Speaking at the event, the MP made the following remarks.
We need to raise our voices against family rule. Some people ask, who is there to raise a voice against this? They say, comrade, you're right, but the opposition does not have enough strength to lend its voice.
Ranil Mahathir, Ranil Mahathir gahawal vipakshi. Ranil gate jate mitra kaudu. Parliament.
Who was Ranil's good friend in Parliament? Opposition whip John is going abroad with the president spending state funds. If they are going abroad like this using government money when they are in the opposition, imagine what they would do if they came into government. Think about it. If a vote has been called in Parliament, then John calls you up the day before the vote and says that they will vote against tomorrow. Is bringing all of these things to Parliament, and this is what John is doing. None of these people can be the opposition in this country.
Moving to some international news, 2 women threw flower at Guatemalan Vice President Roxana Baldetti yesterday as she left the capital's National Theatre.
The incident marred President Otto Perez Molina's State of the Nation address.
Yes, police have arrested 4 people after the flower attack. Baldetti was taken to hospital on a stretcher. She said she had difficulty breathing. Security was tightened at the event where the president was reporting on progress in tackling child malnutrition.
First at 9.
Today is Duruthu Full Moon Poya Day, a day which holds much significance for Buddhist devotees in Sri Lanka.
Yes, Buddhist history notes that Lord Buddha first visited Sri Lanka on Duruthu Full Moon Poya Day.
9 months after attaining enlightenment, Lord Buddha arrived in Sri Lanka on a day like this. From the skies above the current location of the Mahayangana Stupa, Lord Buddha mediated the conflict between the Yaksha and Naga tribes, spreading the message of peace. Buddhist history also notes that the Divya Raja, Sumanasaman, built the Mahayangana Chaitya as an enclosure to hold the sacred hair relic given by Lord Buddha.
බුදුරජාණන් වහන්සේ සම්බුද්ධත්වයට පත් වෙලා මාස 9ක් ගත වුණාට පස්සේ
9 months after attaining enlightenment, Lord Buddha overcame Urval Kashyapa, Nadi Kashyapa and Gaya Kashyapa, made them his listeners and came to the Mahanaga forest in Mahayangana. Our histories tell us that he overcame the Yakshas and returned. It is told that Lord Buddha gave a hair relic to the demigod Saman, who then built the Mahayangana Chaitya for the first time. It is considered as the first Chaitya to have been built by the gods. Today, it is important for all Sri Lankans because it marks the first occasion that Lord Buddha blessed this sacred land.
දෙවියන් විසින් නිර්මාණය කරපු පළමු චෛත්‍ය හැටියට සලකනවා.
In keeping with tradition, the festival to mark Duruthu Full Moon Poya Day was held at the sacred temple of the Truth Valley in Kandy today. A portion of the harvest from areas surrounding the sacred temple is presented as a puja at this ceremony. 80 bales of rice were presented at the puja ceremony held under the auspices of the monk conducting the ceremony and the Diyavadana Nilame Pradeep Nilangadala. The final Randoli Perahara of the annual Duruthu festival at the historic Kalani Raja Mahaviharya was held last night.
Peace comes from within. Do not seek it without. Lord Gautama Buddha.
The President participated in a celebration held for Thai Pongal in Nuwara today.
The President and the First Lady joined in the preparation of Pongal rice and also participated in religious observances. The event was made colourful by a number of cultural performances. We know that you celebrate Mattu Pongal as thanksgivings to the cows who provide milk all year round. Even in the Mahinda Chintana we saw the cow as a treasure. And we must protect them and build on our milk production. I think milk production has increased by 15 or 20% now. We must be grateful. It is only then that the gods will also show their respect. This is the reason why your gods are also human. The Sinhala poets held all of you in high regard because of your togetherness.
Sinhala kawiyo eda watukari jantawa agekara.
Now, the hunger strike commenced by former UPFA Southern Provincial Councillor Ajit Prasanna opposite the Provincial Council premises yesterday concluded this morning.
The hunger strike commenced last morning over a matter pertaining to 3 appointments made to non-academic staff. Prior to concluding the hunger strike this morning, Ajit Prasanna expressed these views to the media. Not a single deputy minister from Parliament has come to look into us as yet. They will not hold talks with us. Your Excellency the President, none of these advisors will tell you the problems that the people are facing. This is what we raise our voices for in the Provincial Council. What we are talking about on the street in this way are the 2 problems facing the people. The problems being faced by the ordinary men who have been done an injustice. There is no one to listen to this today. Remember that there are now small holes that are appearing in the ship known as the Sri Lanka Freedom Party and the United People's Freedom Alliance. People like Ajit Prasanna are pointing out these holes. Sir, if these holes are not repaired, the ship known as United People's Freedom Alliance will sink along with your Excellency. Subsequently, Ajit Prasanna abandoned the hunger strike.
Elsewhere, the Unity Through Power Devolution movement convened a media briefing today.
දේශපාලනය කරන්න සුදුසුකම දැන් හොඳ කැන්ඩිඩේට් කෙනෙක් වෙන්න එක්කෝ නිලියක් වෙන්න ඕනි.
The qualifications for politics today are as follows. To be a good candidate, you have to either be an actress or an actor, a drug smuggler or a person who can bring down ethanol. A person who went marketing for them on a wholesale scale was Lakshman Hulugalla. Where is he now? He is bawling away. He is taking pills to die. Now he is asking for an ambassadorial posting at the very least. But even that is not forthcoming. I do know something though. When I was arrested, Lakshman Hulugalla said, I am a friend, but what is he to do? He said that he needs to read out what the government writes for him. Today I am outside and Lakshman is inside.
මගේ යාළුවෙක් මගේ මිත්‍රයෙක් තමයි මොනා කරන්නද මට ආණ්ඩුවේ ලියලා දෙන එක මම කියවන්න ඕනේ කියලා කියවගෙන ගියා. අද මම එළියේ ලක්ෂ්මන් ඇතුලේ.
Now, meanwhile, Minister of Investment Promotion Lakshman Yapa Abewardena says that no party except the prevailing government can bring change to the country.
He made this statement at an event held in Akurasa today.
The youth front of the Akurasa electorate was established today by the Lakshman Yapa Abewardena Foundation. Who made this change except for the president? We can continue on this journey for 20 to 30 years. Where is the opposition? Where is the UNP? The UNP has appointed a leadership council. There is no country in the world where parties are run by leadership councils. A government and a party cannot be run by 5 leaders. They do not know who the leader is. Who can you place your trust in? What happened to the JVP? They have come to a position where they cannot get a seat in a provincial council. Let's bring forth young men and women who have Sinhalese Buddhist behavior and qualities. These young men and women cannot be destroyed in an instant. I have the morals and respectful politics that I learned from my father's politics. I have strength. There are things that I have learned from my father's politics which enable me to work with people. Thereby, I have taken a major effort to give strength to this brand of politics and move forward with you.
A man who inspired a nation.
A man who inspired countless leaders.
A man who led a non-violent struggle in a world full of violence.
And a man who dreamed a dream of uniting a nation.
Today, countless people around the world remember the inspiring work of Martin Luther King Jr.
Newsfirst Katharina Chang filed this report.
The author of I Have a Dream, Martin Luther King, was an American clergyman and winner of the Nobel Peace Prize who inspired a nation and the entire world through his non-violent movement for equality. Born on 15 January 1929 in Atlanta, Georgia, Martin Luther King Jr. went on to become a strong civil rights activist. He began his battle for equality in 1954. 2 campaigns particularly redefined Martin Luther King Jr. himself. The Montgomery boycott, which was coordinated by King, was a 13-month-long mass protest that ended with the US Supreme Court ruling that segregation on public buses is unconstitutional. During these days of boycott, he was arrested, his home was bombed and was subjected to personal abuse. In 1963, King led the March on Washington, which firmly established him as one of the greatest orators ever seen.
Because I have a dream that my 4 little children will one day live in a nation where they will not be judged by the color of their skin, but by the content of their character. I have a dream today.
In the 11-year period between 1957 and 1968, King traveled 6 million miles and spoke over 2,500 times, appearing where there was injustice, protest and action. At the age of 35, Martin Luther King was the youngest man to have received the Nobel Peace Prize. On the evening of April 4th, 1968, while standing on the balcony of his motel room in Memphis, he was assassinated. This event sparked a wave of disturbances which swept in 110 cities and left dozens dead and thousands injured. This was also known as the Holy Week Uprising. Martin Luther King, who inspired a nation, paved the way for the next generation of leaders. His action inspired Nelson Mandela to commence his battle against apartheid. King's work also paved the way for individuals such as Barack Obama to rise to the position as the first black president of the United States. Now tomorrow we will touch on how the assassination affected a nation and how this day is observed across the globe and much more.
In business news tonight, latest data released by the Central Bank of Sri Lanka indicates a decline in credit to the state sector from commercial banks, while there has been an increase in credit to the private sector.
Central Bank data shows that credit to the private sector from commercial banks in November last year was 2,519 billion rupees. This is an increase of 22.3 billion rupees in comparison with October 2013. Meanwhile, credit to the state sector, which was persistently high in the recent past, has shown some decline. Credit to the state sector in November 2013 amounted to 1,325.5 billion rupees, a decrease of 3.5 billion rupees from October 2013. The flow of credit to the private sector rather than the state sector is broadly seen as being conducive to economic development.
Now, if you consider the views of the small and medium enterprise owners, their view of the world is very different from what the central bank and the government of Sri Lanka is saying is actually happening on the ground. So there are multiple challenges the government or the banking sector will face in continuing to reverse the crowd out effect and increase the credit to the private sector. If by any chance, while the private sector credit begins to grow, the government starts to print money and also lend to state and state-owned enterprises, that will create a negative impact in that there will be more money in circulation than what is necessary, which will lead to inflation. And if the government tries to maintain the value of the currency, that will then increase imports, restricting exports, and will have a serious impact on the currency, as we saw in February of 2012.
Rajala Vidyalaya Kantale emerged champions in the All-Ireland Girls State Ball Cricket Tournament with a 2-wicket win over Gauthami Vidyalaya Colombo.
The All-Ireland Girls State Ball Cricket Tournament was organised by Sri Lanka Cricket with the aim of promoting women's cricket among schools. The finals of the tournament was worked off at the Wesley College grounds in Colombo. Gauthami Vidyalaya Colombo, batting first, scored 81 runs for the loss of 9 wickets in their allotted 15 overs against Rajala Vidyalaya. Chasing 82 runs to win, Rajala Vidyalaya Kantale reached the target in 14.4 overs, losing 8 wickets.
I apologize, that was the Gauthami Vidyalaya Colombo. But with that, we wrap up tonight's edition of Primetime News. I'm Madhushka Balasuri.
And I'm Nicola D'Souza. Thank you for joining us. We leave you tonight with a look at the weather forecast for tomorrow. Good night.
Good night.
Newsfirst at 9.